is its pilot. Cast not thy heart after riches. There's no ignoring fate and destiny. Place not thy thoughts on things outside. Every man is destined for his hour.
I'm feeling goods with all of your cash went. Not chakra alignment or inward refinement. Trying to find one word to describe men. Better yet, can one consciousness unify them? Pondering on these questions is where my time spent. Creative process, believe me, greatness got to achieve it. Ideas we believe in, positive mind, gotta reach in it. Put an effort to bring forth this new being. You're not consumed by the lust for things, but knows that his worth is determined by words and deeds. Your mind is affected by words and deeds. Your thoughts are keys to what you're trying to see, and what you're trying to see should be to reach your goals. Hold on to your dreams, keys open doors. Since you can't always choose circumstances, make sure to choose your thoughts wisely. Choose advancement, move towards the future. Now's your chance, kid. Accept responsibility, avoid resentment. Actions always take root from what you think about. Things ain't going your way, ain't it hard to figure out why? Why? Ask why. Ain't gotta tell you, it's right in front of your eyes. So in following these principles, you'll find along the road you're the only one responsible for your soul. It's no coincidence. Take control of your life, no coincidence. It's no coincidence. You take control, no coincidence. It's no coincidence. Yeah, it's no coincidence. It's no coincidence. Nah, it's no coincidence.
Old shells are highly prized. And this one is occupied by a sarcastic fringe.
Trump's policies would throw us into a recession. The last thing we need.
Some of those jobs of the past are just not going to come back. He just says, "Well, I'm going to negotiate a better deal." Well, how exactly are you going to negotiate that? What magic wand do you have?
The Dow, well, it's gone up for 8 straight sessions, and it will go up, at least at the opening bell, again today.
Companies are hiring. We know layoffs are down and companies are hiring.
Unemployment for African Americans fell to a new low of 5.9%. Female job seekers, a low as well, 3.4%.
Jobless claims dropping to 3.8%. In fact, we've only seen a number that low since 1969.
Even the New York Times has to admit it. Check out this reporting. We ran out of words to describe how good the jobs numbers are.
But we can only do that if we elect people who are going to back our agenda and fight for our values. And that is why we have to defeat Nancy Pelosi, and Maxine Waters, a very low IQ individual. You ever see her? You ever see her? We will impeach him. We will impeach him. We will impeach the president. But he hasn't done anything wrong. It doesn't matter. We will impeach him. She's a low IQ individual. You can't help it. She really is.
You're listening to breaking news. Absolutely breaking the news in half with Harry, aka The Brave, on WNHH LP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio. What's up? Hope everybody had a good weekend. I'm thinking about those clips I just played, right? And how the economy is soaring right now. It's funny because I had the Cannabis Corner people here just a couple of minutes ago. I was producing their show before this show, and they were talking about what has Trump done for them. They can't see what, they don't see a difference in their lives, right? And it's interesting how everybody always sees things differently, right? So a strong economy, these are the cannabis people who want the state of Connecticut to legalize marijuana for recreational use. They already have it for medicinal use, right? So they want the state to legalize marijuana. First off, let's start with, how has Trump done anything for their lives? Well, Trump decided not to go after the states actually, legalizing marijuana for anything. So that's one, right? And an economy that's booming and growing actually helps with these marijuana small business people trying to get on track, actually helps them grow their businesses. Now, the biggest problem is the state that they live in, right? And I was talking to a small business I was going to say owner, but he tried to start a business in Connecticut, and it was like he was paying out his RIA, right, with all the regulations and everything. And he's like, it's impossible to start a business here. Now, he was trying to move from Florida over here. And he's like, in Florida, it's like you just go in and start your business. They help you out so much over there. Over here, not so much. So he changed his mind and he's headed back to Florida. But that's the difference, right? So you have, from state to state, you have certain people running these states, Democrats running the states, that feel like businesses owe them something, right? So businesses have to pay into them, right? And then you have other states who realize the more businesses, the more small businesses we help open up, the more employees. So the more employees, it means the more revenue coming into the state because they pay taxes. So it seems it's something that a lot of people don't even understand to begin with, right? If you promote business, you help businesses come to your state, and you make it easier for them by cutting regulations, by cutting taxes. The people, the way they contribute to the neighborhoods or to the business community is by growing and actually hiring people, and those people paying taxes, and those people spending their money in other businesses. But it's hard to explain to people who have been stuck in a hole and are trying to get out of that hole, and that hole is Connecticut, right? So anyway, but that was Cannabis Corner before our show. I like those guys, and I totally believe in the legalization of marijuana for medicinal use. The recreational stuff, I'm trying to figure it out for myself, but for medicinal, absolutely. Cannabis is, compared to the painkillers that the pharmaceutical companies are selling, cannabis is so much better, right? So anyway, I forgot where I was now, but I'm gonna go to music and then I'll come right back to get to the headlines. All right, you're listening to Breaking News, absolutely breaking the news with Harry, aka The Brave, on WNHH LP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio.
That's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be a real big problem. That's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be a real big problem. Leaving on my green, just minding my shit. So the lights in the mirror, seatbelt went click. I'm innocent, my paper's legit, but that wasn't gonna stop him from giving me shit. He's walking to my door, tapping on my glass, telling me his reasons for what he called fast. Doesn't matter, got no time to stress. Can somebody be my witness? Frustrated, irritated while I'm sitting in court looking at the jury, feeling no support. My lawyer telling me to take plea. I can see the judge's eyes saying I should agree. But that's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be a real big problem. That's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be a real big problem. Left my girl home, now I'm rolling on my own. No shame that I pregame, secrets how to save. That's just how I do, and my friends do. But now I'm clubbing like a fool. Supermodel shaped like a Coke bottle, killer smile like a style, all the fellas going wild. Let's connect, I can take what she expect. This is something I regret, from my pocket she's a threat. Here she comes.
Hey, what's up?
What you think? Did she just wink? Stay focused. What's your name?
Buy me a drink?
That's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be a real big problem. That's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be a real big problem. 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 That's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be a real big problem. That's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be a real big problem. Owe me money, pay up, hot for me, please stop. Wanna ride, pay for gas, broke food, kiss my, pay for dinner, can't do. Now you mad, who's you? Act sick, got the cure, fake people, move it off. That's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be a real big problem. That's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be a real big problem.
You're listening to breaking news, absolutely breaking the news with Harry, aka The Brave. All right. I was trying to do something, but so I just lost my train of thought. But let's get to a headline. Trump. Oh well, I don't know if anybody heard, but the lead investigator who started the Trump investigation, the collusion investigation, the counterintelligence investigation, Peter Strzok, was fired. He finally got fired today, and people are criticizing Trump for saying finally, right? Because everything that Trump tweets is obstruction to people. Right, but Peter Strzok is very important in this whole did Trump collude mess, this investigation, right? Because Peter Strzok is the FBI agent who was in charge of the Hillary Clinton email case. I think it was the 50,000 emails that Hillary Clinton deleted, right? And So she said she had turned in all of her emails. She actually testified to this in Congress. She said it to reporters and everything that she had turned in all of her emails. And then she said, but besides, who wants to read my emails? It's about yoga and about emails with my husband. Which, by the way, Bill Clinton throws her under the bus because he says he never uses email. He's only emailed once. He's not an email person, right? So anyway, so Peter Strzok and James Comey are Peter Strzok under James Comey is investigating Hillary Clinton for the emails. They come up with exonerating Hillary without ever interviewing Hillary, right? They wrote that note like 3 months before they ever interview Hillary, before they ever interview any of her staff. They actually gave all her staff immunity to say they were guilty, right? So you actually had the IT person who destroyed all of this, who bleach bitted, acid washed the server. They gave him immunity. They gave everybody immunity so they did an investigation where at the end nobody could get charged with anything. Because how are you going to do an investigation? If you give somebody immunity, it's to get somebody. But they gave everybody who was involved immunity. And then they wrote a letter exonerating Hillary of everything before they ever talked to her. And then when they talked to her, they didn't do it on the record. They didn't record it. They didn't do anything. Right? So then Peter Strzok, once Trump becomes the nominee for the Republican Party, he shifts his focus from the Hillary Clinton investigation, because they had already written the letter. He had already, Comey had written the letter, and Peter Strzok had edited the letter so that it read as she did nothing criminal, but that it was all her being ignorant, right? So the letter read like she's ignorant, but there's nothing criminal. Instead of her being criminally negligent, she was just ignorant, right? So once he did that with Comey, he actually writes the papers that start the investigation on Donald Trump. And then he's texting with his girlfriend, but really she's his mistress because he's married. But he was texting with a lawyer, Lisa Page, at the Department of Justice, who was working under Andrew McCabe, another FBI deputy director that got fired for lying to Congress, for lying to the FBI, for just lying. He's a liar, right? Anyway, so Peter Strzok starts the investigation, has the affair with his mistress, and him and his mistress are talking about the conversation. Now he's texting on a FBI phone, so that's why the Inspector General, when he did an audit, was able to find all their texts, and their texts are talking about how he had unfinished business. He was exonerating Hillary and had unfinished business with Donald Trump. So basically saying, we got Hillary off, we're going to get Trump in a trap, right? So, and then they have so many texts talking about Trump. So anyway, so today, finally, now this is the guy who starts the investigation on this whole mess, and that is so convoluted, but there's a Russian dossier that the FBI has never said whether they also paid for the dossier, but Hillary Clinton and the DNC spent close to anywhere from $9 to $12 million on a dossier, an unverified dossier that Director James Comey called salacious and unverified. So it tells you right there, they started the investigation with that dossier, a dossier that they didn't verify on the Trump campaign. Now, this is why we're still into this. Well, is there Russian collusion? Now, of course, there's Russian meddling, because that's what Russia does. They were meddling under the Obama administration, and Obama did nothing about that, right? So the meddling is not the issue. It's whether Trump participated in some type of conspiracy to steal the election. That's what they've been investigating. But one of Peter Strzok's emails, where he says he's gonna, when they finally do a special prosecutor, which is Robert Mueller, Rosenstein, Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, appoints Robert Mueller, which basically Mueller takes the investigation that Strzok started and makes it a special investigation. You know, so Strzok got thrown off that team because Mueller finally found out about his emails and all that. So, but what everybody has to be wondering, if Mueller has been using the information that Strzok put together, is it a crap investigation? I'm trying to find the word. Because fruit from the poisonous tree. Peter Strzok is the poisonous tree. And they fired him today because of those biased emails and text. Anyway, so like I said, this whole case or cases, because when you include Hillary Clinton's emails, when you include Dianne Feinstein, she's the senior senator on the Intelligence Committee in the Senate, and she had her driver of 20 years turned out to be a spy for the Chinese government, right? And this is how the FBI handled Dianne Feinstein's spy issue, right? They had been investigating her driver for a while, and when they actually start thinking that he is a spy, they went to Dianne Feinstein and told her that she had a spy. She had hired a spy, and so the FBI actually approached her and gave her the information, so she was able to make it. Well, she had to fire him, right? Well, it's not like Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who it turns out that she had hired people who were stealing stuff from the whole Senate, from the Congress, and she was still helping him even after the feds told her what he was doing. But anyway, so Dianne Feinstein was warned, so she was able to fire the guy. How did they handle the case with Trump? They never tell Trump anything. And this is the problem, because I remember when James Clapper, the former, the highest ranking intelligence official under Obama, when he went on The View, he told The View ladies that, yes, they had a spy, but that Trump, now this is the feds, had a spy in the Trump administration because they suspected that there were spies, Papadopoulos and Carter Page. They suspected that Trump had spies among his campaign. So instead of approaching Donald Trump with that information, just like they did Dianne Feinstein, guess what they do? The CIA and the FBI put a spy into the campaign so that they could try to get Trump. They didn't give Trump exactly the same treatment they gave Dianne Feinstein. They actually put a spy into his campaign. They didn't put a spy into Dianne Feinstein's staff to see if she was actually assisting the Chinese spy. They approached her so she was able to take care of it. The FBI and the CIA never approached Trump to tell him, look, this is what we suspect. So I know I went off a little, but finally, Peter Strzok, the one who started all of this, has been fired. Now, it's time that Robert Mueller end this investigation because of the fruit from the poisonous tree, which is Strzok. And all the bias, not just Strzok, because you have Bruce Orr, who worked for the Department of Justice, whose wife works for Fusion GPS. Okay? Fusion GPS happens to be the firm that Hillary Clinton hired to get dirt on Trump. Okay, that's the firm that gets paid the $9 to $12 million, who turns around and hires a British spy, and that British spy collects information from former Russian KGB, former Russian intelligence agents, which we know in Russia, there's no such thing as a former Russian intelligence agent. There's no such thing. They stay active their whole lives, and when Russia calls, they're there. So, finally, Peter Strzok, ding dong, the witch is dead. Well, you know what I mean. But it's interesting because all of this stuff about Trump being guilty of something, and the only thing they found so far is that the FBI has been the one that's guilty of everything, right? So let's play some music, and I'll be right back to give you more breaking news. Absolutely breaking the mainstream media in half with Harry, aka The Brave, on WNHH LP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio.
I'm trying to figure out what's the reason I keep playing the fool between you and I. They say love hurts, yeah, do we slow? This emotion picture like a movie, yo. This ish got me going in circles. Lord Winslow, I ain't gonna be your Urkel, but I can't find the strength, I need to let you know. Damn, I really need to let you go. I'm tired of being your April fool. We get back together, then you do me like you do. And I ain't used to feeling like this. I'm supposed to be happy, I'm rich. Instead you got it again up late, tossing and turning, Henny in a cup, kush rolled and it's burning. Yeah, I know I gotta get a grip, cause I can't keep living like this.
You must think I'm supposed to be here with you and I won't leave. No, I can't keep playing the fool. I'm done with you. This ain't how it's supposed to be. You don't act the same with me. No, I can't keep playing the fool. I'm done with you. I'm gonna pack up and leave. Then you wanna beg for me. No, I can't keep playing the fool. I'm done with you. Soon as I walk out the door, you realize that I was more. No, I can't keep playing the fool. I'm done with you. It's this, then it's that. You leave, then you come back. Oh, I don't wanna be your April fool. You talk ish, get mad. We fight, I'm this, I'm that. Oh, I don't wanna be your April fool.
Yeah, I understand love ain't easy, but this ain't love, girl, believe me. Yeah, we back and forth like a football. This love thing will make you write a book, y'all. Sometimes I can't stand you, I hate you. Then sometimes I'm begin miss you, I hate to admit. But your love I can't forget, and it's sad cause I this shit was the illest, the realest. Find myself thinking about you, then I reminisce about you and how you do. Then I think about how I used to be a fool and naive to the went through. Instead you got a up late, tossing and turning, Henny in the cup, then it's burning. Man, I gotta get a grip, cause I can't keep living like this.
First it's this, then it's that. You leave, then you come back. Oh, I don't wanna be your April fool.
Alright, you're listening to Breaking News, absolutely breaking the news. Alright, just for some backup on this, on the other story and everything I was going over. A memory stick, this is from The Hill reporter John Solomon. A memory stick quietly exchanged in a coffee shop. An admission of a Hail Mary leak. An unmistakable effort to push the Russia investigation closer to Donald Trump's inner circle with uncorroborated tales. Those are just some of the highlights from the day that Fusion GPS founder Glenn Simpson, paid by the Hillary Clinton campaign to find dirt on her GOP rival, met secretly with a top Justice Department official right after Trump won the 2016 election. And all of it was captured in the official's handwritten notes, a contemporaneous record that intelligence professionals tell me exposes the flaws plaguing the early Russia collusion case. For example, Simpson told then Associate Deputy Attorney General Bruce Orr during the December 10, 2016 meeting in a Washington coffee shop that he believed Trump's longtime lawyer Michael Cohen was the go-between from Russia to the Trump campaign. Yet Simpson acknowledged that most of the information Fusion GPS and British intelligence operative Christopher Steele developed did not come from the sources inside Moscow. Much of the collection about the Trump campaign ties to Russia comes from a former Russian intelligence officer who lives in the U.S., or scribbled in his notes. So, Bruce Orr, that deputy, what was his? He was Associate Deputy Attorney General Bruce Orr, who is not a counterintelligence person, was meeting secretly, off books, with Glenn Simpson. And why was Glenn Simpson willing to meet with Bruce Orr? Because Bruce Orr's wife happened to work for Glenn Simpson also. Okay, so you see the conflict of interest that's going on here. And the people in the Department of Justice just didn't care. They were determined to get Donald Trump by any means necessary. Right? So he's writing all of this stuff down. They're his notes in his handwriting. And he's writing that this guy is saying this guy is saying that. But at the same time, he writes that he admits that there's no proof of anything. Right? In those notes, Orr repeatedly misspells Simpson's first name as Glenn. Cohen has emphatically and repeatedly denied any role in connecting Russia to the Trump campaign. His lawyer, Lenny Davis, declined comment Thursday. Simpson admitted in sworn testimony last year to the House Intelligence Committee that he had contact with Orr after Trump's election victory, but Orr's notes provide the first detailed public account of what the two men actually discussed. Right, so I could keep going. Let me just read a couple of more paragraphs. Congressional investigators now are scouring them for evidence that Simpson and Steele had influence over the Russia probe. Even after Steele was dismissed as an FBI informant in November 2016, investigators want to know if any players in the Russia probe gave Congress false testimony. All right, so here it is. This proves that there was a conspiracy, but the conspiracy was to get Donald Trump by the Department of Justice, the FBI, and Christopher Steele and Glenn Simpson, the guy from Fusion GPS. Now, keep in mind, Simpson is paid $12 million by the DNC and Hillary Clinton campaign. So he is motivated to get dirt on Hillary Clinton's rival. So he's motivated to take down Donald Trump. And he found some willing participants, some willing partners in the FBI and Bruce Orr in the Department of Justice. He found some willing partners. You know, so this is just insane what's going on. And I was watching Morning Joe this morning, and they don't mention any of this, what's going on in the background. All they mention is Rudolph Giuliani saying that Robert Mueller had told him that he should be done with the investigation by September 1st. And they were calling that statement obstruction. That Giuliani is out there putting pressure on Robert Mueller and that Trump is liable to fire Robert Mueller. They take you down this rabbit hole of opinion. They have no proof. And actually, Joe Scarborough was saying this morning, there's just every day you get more and more proof that there was collusion. That's insane. It's insane because there's no proof, or Robert Mueller would have already had Trump. But if you tune in to actually get the facts of what's happening behind the scenes, you're not going to find it on CNN. You're not going to find it on MSNBC. Because these guys are politically motivated also. They hate Trump. They want to get Trump. Oh, and by the way, since we're talking about Scarborough and Morning Joe, Mika Brzezinski is somebody that Trump calls low IQ Mika all the time. He's been calling her low IQ for a while. He disses men, women. He's an equal opportunity insulter. So, come on. Stop that. Oh, because he called Maxine Waters low IQ. That has to be racist. Come on. That's ridiculous. And how about the whole media who's been saying that Trump was mentally ill or wasn't mentally capable of doing this job? Was that racist? You're allowed to criticize people. You know, we've never seen a president do it the way he does it, but you're allowed. Oof, all right. You're listening to Breaking News, absolutely breaking the news with Harry, a.k.a. The Brave, on WNHH LP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio.
Coming from where I'm from, not too many make it out. I'm just trying to be the one, I'm just trying to be that one. I like the dark, I ain't chasing the sun. I know I'm gonna shine when the time come. I'ma be the best that ever did it. Just gotta stay committed. I lose my mind trying to find it, get my head together. I'm stressing. Sent my brother a message. He promised to never stop fighting as long as I'm writing. That's what I needed. Through my eyes, he'll always be undefeated. He said I got it, and boy, do I believe it. I knew it since a youngin'. You know that feeling. Like you don't really belong in the pain, but come your healing, I'm strong, but what if I ain't have to be? Guess I wouldn't be the woman I am, being broken is half of me. They gon' say they feel me, but do they really though? When it get really show who gon' really be down for you? Say you got a circle, but they ain't really around for you, won't feed you, but that's your man's hold a pound for you when it's beat. Man, I'm just trying to eat. Everybody catching bodies, I'm just bodying beats. Telling my story cause can't nobody tell it better. Leave it to me and I'ma leave them with something that lasts forever. Breathe again. Yet again, I need all the flaws, scars, and all the walls we hold to get off of me. I need a moment I can breathe again. Yet again, who to call when all the lights and shows is all we know and it's all in me. I need a moment I can breathe again. Yet again, I need a moment I can breathe again. Yet again, I need a moment I can breathe again. Yet again, I need a moment I can breathe again. Yet again, I need a moment I can breathe again. Will you accept me with all of my flaws? Will you regret me when I'm in the wrong? Will you help me make it right? Will you keep me in mind even when I'm out of sight? I've seen so much, can't blame me for it. I've been praying more. A mistake come with a price, guess I'm paying for it. Looking back on my life, all the things I did right, I ain't really get much praise for it. But I ain't come to plead my case, I came to make my peace. Let me talk to you. Do you mind if I peek? Still a lot on my chest that I just wanna release. Said this all before, feel like I'm on repeat. Getting harder to sleep, guilt trips, got my mind drifting. Ain't much change, just a time difference. Everybody still having a hard time listening. It's these sides to every story, only mine missing. They try to read me, but I'm not a book. Couldn't judge me by my cover, took a second look. Past the chapter of believing in happily ever afters. At least that's what I keep telling myself. Is it true? I don't know, but at times it helps. Then I look around to see I got it in myself. Mind take me to an unfamiliar place. I'm looking you in the face, and all I could think to say is, I need a moment to forgive again. Yet again, I need all the flaws, scars, and all the walls we hold to get off of me. I need a moment I can breathe again. Yet again, who to call when all the lights and shows is all we know and it's all in me. I need a moment I can breathe again. Yet again, I need a moment I can breathe again. Yet again.
All right, you're listening to Breaking News, absolutely breaking the news with Harry, a.k.a. The Brave. All right, so from the Washington Times, NAACP blasts Trump for Shiz's whole comment. Then says Haiti full of poverty and violence. Okay, let's get into the story, because the NAACP sued the Trump administration Wednesday, arguing it discriminated against black people when it announced an end to the special humanitarian protections for would-be illegal immigrant Haitians who stayed in the U.S. since the 2010 earthquake. The civil rights group used President Trump's reported shithole comment earlier this month as evidence he was biased against the country. Then went on to describe the horrid conditions of poverty, violence, poor health that plague the people of Haiti, which is interesting, right? So they're suing Trump because they're saying he wants to deport these Haitis back only because he's a racist, because he said, allegedly, because it's never been proved he said anything, that he said these are shithole. Why are we taking immigrants from these shithole, countries? So Haiti, I think he was talking. I forgot what other countries he was talking about, but they're suing over Haiti, right? And then they go on to tell the judge how much of a shithole those countries are, that these people shouldn't be deported and or returned to Haiti because these countries are so horrible. They sound like Trump. Of course, they're not using the SHIT word, right? They're not using that word, but they tell Trump is racist for describing Haiti as a shithole. For describing it in that manner, he has to be racist. But these people can't go back because what Trump said is true. Doesn't make sense, right? But that was exactly the argument that was done. All right, let's move on to another story the mainstream media is using to try to tarnish Trump, right? Now Trump, I think he tweeted something about, the anniversary of Charlotte. Was it Charlotte? Charlottesville, North Virginia, where the young lady got ran over by some white supremacists, right? So he tweeted that he doesn't want any violence on either side. And see, but him saying he doesn't want violence on either side and stuff like that, that's a dog whistle. That's a dog whistle. He's telling, now this isn't me saying this. This is MSNBC and CNN talking about that is a dog whistle. By saying he doesn't want violence on either side, he's telling the white supremacists, I'm with you. That's kind of weird, right? But I guess I'm not a dog, so I can't hear that whistle, right? You have to have those animal instincts. So, literally, he can't win, right? Because, and this is the thing that I never get, right? Because people who hate me, right? Who some people hate me because I'm Puerto Rican. Some people hate me because I'm a conservative. Some people hate me because I'm fat. Some people hate me because whatever it is you want to hate me for, it just means you don't like me, right? But it's just like the people. Look, I see people out of their minds, bat crap, crazy over Trump. Yeah, I know when they're in their life with their own friends and their family, they're probably good people. They just can't stand Trump, right? So that's the way I see people who may be racist towards me. As long as they don't harm me with violence, or obstruct my life in any way, you could go scream in a corner all you want about how much you hate Puerto Rican fat people. Right? It has nothing to do with me. But you may after screaming in that corner, you may go home to your daughter and be a good father or whatever it is. Some people go, oh my God, good father if he hates if he hates minorities. In their life, in their bubble. As long as their bubble never affects me, I'm fine with it. Right? And that's the key. Right? So, but, people want you to say, those racists who have a permit to spew their racism should never be allowed to spew that. But we have the First Amendment. We have the right to free speech. So they have the right to say whatever they want. And if you want the right to say what you want in the future, you should be fighting for those crazies to be able to say what they want. Right? So, but that's what the Democrats want. They want to shut down the racists from being able to say racist things. That's not what our country is about. Right? So anyway, so Trump tweets out he doesn't want no violence, and people hear a dog whistle. I think that says more about you. If you're hearing a dog whistle, I suggest you go get that checked. Go to the emergency room right now if you hear a dog whistle. You may have tinnitus or something wrong with your ear. That throws off your equilibrium. You don't want to bang into a wall or trip down the stairs. That's me trying to help you. Help me help you. Anyway, so now to the story. Okay, so massive counter-protest dwarf white nationalist rally in D.C. This is what I've been saying all along. The only reason, now people, when I came in, I'm like, people aren't ever hearing me when I'm talking to them. I've been saying that the amount of white supremacists or Klansmen are so insignificant that they're less than 0.0003% of the population. There's not many of them. The only reason they have a platform is because the mainstream media gives them that platform of hate so that they could try to connect them to Trump. That's the only reason the mainstream media gives them the platform. And that's the only reason that those racists, those Klansmen, are able to actually spread their venom, and it's because the mainstream media. Not because of Trump, not because of anything. Just because the mainstream media has been trying to tie these people to Trump all through from the time he came down that escalator. They've been trying to tie him to those people. But they're insignificant. They were dwarfed at Washington, D.C., at that white nationalist party. I think they said like 30-something showed up of those people. That's it. It's not worth your time. It's not worth the stress to worry about those type of people. But you can't, and let me repeat this because I hear this all the time. When I talk about some illegal immigrant committing a crime, as soon as I walk out the studio, I'm told, you can't associate every immigrant to those people who committed the crime. And I said, I'm not. I'm talking about that the crime exists and you guys keep ignoring it. Right? But I get that lecture of me not associating every immigrant with that illegal immigrant that I spoke about. And it's not me associating them with that guy. It's them. This tribalism that I'm always talking about. But let me repeat your own advice, all those people out there who listen. You can't tarnish and associate every white person in America with those racists in Charlottesville. Not if you understand. All right. Let's see if I can get to one more because my time is flying here. Oh, this is a good one. The Boston, what is it? The Boston Post? A Boston newspaper is proposing a coordinated editorial response from publications across the U.S. to President Donald Trump's frequent attacks on the media. This isn't the first time. I think last week some New York Times writer said that media people should combine to fight Trump, to write stuff against Trump. Now, I don't think they exist in the world that exists. If you look at all the studies on how the media is acting, Trump gets 88 to 90% of bad stories written about him every day. 80 to 90% of the stories written about Trump, everything they do, the media, the mainstream media is always against Trump. And you have the Boston Globe, it's the Boston Globe. And then you have a New York Times writer. Everybody, we should come together. What have you been doing? Where are you? Where do you live? Try to get to one more. Oof, you're listening to breaking news. Absolutely breaking the news. There's other stories, but they're going to take long. Look, I have stories about Obama, about how bad Obama was with the mainstream media himself, right? That they're saying Trump is warring with the mainstream media and they have to do something about it. But there's plenty of stories of Obama. Here goes a Washington Post story. Seizing journalist records, an outrage that Obama normalized. He normalized it, and now Trump is able to do it, which he hasn't yet, right? He hasn't seized anything from reporters. Okay, let's go on. I'm just going to read the headlines because there's no time. Obama boots reporter from conservative papers. It's another thing, you know, that Trump's always arguing with Jim Acosta and everything. And they had booted a CNN reporter. Well, Obama did the same thing, right? He did it, what was it? Barack Obama's campaign, he did it in 2008, has booted from its airplane 3 reporters who work for a conservative newspaper. Blah, blah, blah. Nobody cared because it was Obama. The press survived Obama's persecution, and it will survive Trump's persecution, right? This goes on. This is from the Baltimore Sun. Trump's war on press, no match for Obama's. Obama actually went after these reporters in court. Okay? He actually went after these reporters in court. Look, James Rosen, Fox News reporter, targeted as co-conspirator in spying case. They actually got a warrant to read James Rosen's parents' email. Nobody cared. It was Obama. Even the press gave him a pass because they wrote about it, but the mainstream media, which is CNN, MSNBC, they never reported on it. They would give a couple of lines, and once they reported it once, they never went back to it. But since they reported it once, that was enough for them, right? Obama shuts down White House heckler, and he tells him, "You're in my house." Okay, this was actually an illegal immigrant transgender who Obama threw out because he yelled out that Obama wasn't doing enough. Obama yelled out, "You're in my house." Right? But now when Trump says something close to that, people say it's the people's house. It's not Trump's house. But Obama said it was his house. Whose house? All right, I got to get out of here. Look at this. Bill de Blasio, mayor of New York, let security haul away a Post reporter for asking a question he didn't like. Nobody cares, right? Nobody cares because he's a Democrat. All right, I got to get out of here. You've been listening to Breaking News, absolutely breaking the news with Harry, a.k.a. The Brave, on WNHH LP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio.
Make firm thy mind. The tongue of a man is the rudder of the boat, but the Lord of all is its pilot. Cast not thy heart after riches. There's no ignoring fate and destiny. Place not thy thoughts on things outside. Every man is destined for his hour.
I'm feeling goods with all of your cash went. Not chakra alignment or inward refinement. Trying to find one word to describe men. Better yet, can one consciousness unify them? Pondering on these questions is where my time spent. Creative process, believe me, greatness got to achieve it. Ideas we believe in, positive mind, gotta reach it. Putting effort to bring forth this new being. You're not consumed by the lust for things, but knows that his work is determined by words and deeds. Your mind is affected by words and deeds. Your thoughts are keys to what you're trying to see, and what you're trying to see should be to reach your goals. Hold on to your dreams, keys open doors. Since you can't always choose circumstances, make sure to choose your thoughts wisely. Choose advancement, move towards the future. Now's your chance, kid. Accept responsibility, avoid resentment. Actions always take root from what you think about. Things ain't going your way, ain't it hard to figure out why? Why? Ask why. Ain't gotta tell you, it's right in front of your eyes. So in following these principles, you'll find along the road you're the only one responsible for your soul. It's no coincidence. Take control of your life, no coincidence. It's no coincidence. You take control, no coincidence. It's no coincidence. Yeah, it's no coincidence. It's no coincidence. Nah, it's no coincidence.
Old shells are highly prized. And this one is occupied by a sarcastic fringe.